guys, how's it going? It's Chris here. For today's video, we're going to be going over the CSI XR-5 S.T.A.R. This is a pretty basic level AEG. If you want to see the unboxing video that we did for this gun, go ahead and click the first link in the description below or the iCard that should be popping up somewhere on screen, there or there. First off, I want to start by saying that we bought this gun as nothing more than a beginning gun, just something for her to learn with, something for her to get used to and kind of get a feel of the game before dedicating to an actual kit that she wants to use if she decides she wants to dedicate to it. Now, she likes airsoft and everything, and she likes it well enough to want to get into it, but we feel that after having used this gun today, we feel that this is a average choice. It's a very average starting gun in a lot of ways, and I have a couple of notes I want to go over real quick. First off, I want to point out that the style of the gun is very obviously futuristic. It's just dripping with style, and it comes in a multitude of colors: gray, white, black, dark gray, whatever. It comes in a multitude of, well, not really colors, I guess, but grayish tones. It's got a lot of nice little features. I do like where the battery's on. I like how easily accessible the battery is. Sometimes it can be kind of a pain because if you're using a nunchuck NIM type battery, it might be a little bit of a pain to get it in there nicely, but there is a lot of storage space inside there. Maybe a little hard to see if the focus isn't entirely perfect, but it's a little bit of a slide up right there for the pick-and-knee rail system, for that to slide out and to drop down for the battery compartment. Next we have some flip-up built-in iron sights, which can be removed with just a bit of an Allen wrench twist. You can take those off, and they're very cheap. They're obviously plastic. They're nothing too crazy. I could probably snap them off if I wanted to. Most of the entire body is injected polymer with only a few metal components, and honestly, not even that many I can call out. I mean, even the trigger's plastic. The bolts are all metal, of course, gotta hold that in there nicely. The orange barrel is surprisingly metal. Really, other than that, all the internals are obviously what they need to be, metal components inside, but it's super heavy for being just mostly, it's like an 80% polymer gun, at least for the body and the attachments, and even the rail is all built-in polymer. You can't remove that, but it's extremely heavy for being polymer. Polymer is usually known for being the lightweight alternative to metal guns. It looks like the buffer tube here is metal, which is really nice. It's very heavy. It's very center weight heavy, so when you're in a game like this for a long time, your left arm is going to be feeling that weight as you're supporting it. And it's a little bit long too. As you can see, I stand in at a height of about 5'8", 5'9", and it's got a pretty decent length to it, especially with the stock fully adjusted. It's got about a 6-position stock right there, so you can definitely get an exact length of the gun that you want that's comfortable for you. Personally, I like it right about the middle. I have to say right now that the iron sights are abysmal. I can't see anything with them. They're super obtrusive, but that's just me personally. You may like them. I think they're stylistically cool, but they don't earn functionality is not exactly there. When it comes to features of the gun, obviously we have the pick-and-knee rail system on the bottom for the underbarrel. We have 2 side mounts right there. We have a top for some sights, not soats, but it doesn't go all the way down the barrel. You have a little bit of like a ventilation design right here, which is right now where we have the sling attached to, because there's really, and unless you get a clamp, unless you get like a pick-and-knee sling mount, there's really nowhere for you to mount a sling. But on the back, you have your little stylish stock right here. You have a little metal bracket for you to hook your sling to, which is really nice. But I don't know why, if they're going to do it on one side, why not do it on both? I know people use tactical bungee slings all the time, but for those people who can't use them, because like my girlfriend, whose gun this was originally, is not tall enough to use, a 2-point sling is usually needed for people like that. Or even a lot of times, 2-point slings are just comfortable. I like 2-point slings. I really do. And honestly, I might switch to a 2-point. I have my 1-point tactical bungee sling, and it's nice, but I like 2-point slings. I mean, they're nice to me personally. When it comes to actual specs of the gun, the velocity it shoots at about 380 FPS, so it's a low enough FPS for you to use in outdoor games and even possibly in some indoor games. It depends on where you're playing at. The weight, it comes in, like I said, heavy at about 7.5 pounds. It's pretty dense, especially for the length. It uses a metal version 2 gearbox system, the 9.6 volt nunchuck battery with a Tamiya connector, which can obviously be swapped out and upgraded to a Dean's and up to a LiPo battery if you want to use that. But with that 9.6 volt nunchuck battery, I did notice that the firing was very punchy. It had a power to it. It had a lot of dense bucking to it whenever it's shot, and the BBs definitely hit hard. I'm not entirely sure what the battery life would be on this gun using the NIM type batteries, but the ones that I bought for was a Lancer Tactical 1600 mAh rating, and this thing was kicking BBs out like a mule. It was coming out there powerful. It has like a nice little push to it when you shoot. Like you can feel all the gears and everything going. Zzz, zzz.
You say so.
Did you
It is.
the hop up on it?
Nope.
No, I haven't
Straight
touched.
out of the box.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Are those dents right in the center from this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hits hard. I like it. I am nailing that tree. No problem whatsoever. Now the gun does come with one standard magazine, which is this beauty right here. This is the magazine that comes standard with the gun. That is injected polymer magazine, and that is a solid mold that does not come out of the stylistic little finger grab spot right there. And the magazine is a 300 round high capacity mag. It's nothing too crazy and it works well, but it seems that this is like one of the only mags I can find that works for this gun. So as you guys can see, the magazine clips in there a little awkwardly. I find myself not being able to eject and slide the mag in without looking at what I'm doing. But when it's in there, it doesn't wobble, it doesn't shake, and it does eject pretty nicely. However, these are a bunch of different type of M4 magazines that I have. These are all high cap magazines, and there's nothing too crazy or stylish about them. We have a polymer one, we have 3 metal magazines, and almost none of these fit right in the gun. It says it takes standard M4 mags, and while I'm sure could take them, it doesn't seem like it takes every single brand. I don't have the exact names for all of the magazine types, but these are all fairly cheap magazines, so they're not the best performing, but they should still fit in a standard M4 M16 gun pretty easily. But this one right here gets jammed and doesn't even make a full connection. I'm not hitting the release. You guys can see I'm not hitting any release, and I can't get it to fully connect in the gun. It gets jammed in there and it doesn't make a connection. This gold magazine right here, that one did click in. So this one did attach, but the release is a little bit stiff. This again, it's not like it's any kind of special magazine for it. It's just a standard high cap magazine I probably got for 15 bucks. It's a very old magazine. I've had this thing for like 8 years. So this one does fit in there, but very tightly. I do have some electrical tape in there because most of my guns have very loose mag wells, and this one's a fairly tight mag well, but the electrical tape right there is keeping it nice and tight, so this one does work. Here's another standard, I believe this is a JG M4 mag. Let's see if that one fits, and alright, I'm not hitting the release, and it's like partially clicking but not entirely staying. Here's another metal high cap mag, and it's not staying in there. When it does say that it fits most M4, M16 rounds, besides the one that came with it, I only have one other high cap mag that works with it, and none of my mid caps for my actual setup for my Falcor Blitz, none of those mid caps fit this gun. So if you're gonna buy this gun in the shop, have them test some mags so you can see which ones fit. So that's a big downside. If you can't have extra magazines for the gun, that's a big downside. One thing I did want to point out too real quick when it came to the shooting test that we did is that the trigger jammed up on the first shot. Like, we shot it a little bit inside, we dry fired it just to see how it would react, how the hair trigger was, and when we went to go shoot outside with some actual BBs, the trigger was like stuck. We had to like snap it out and get it to work again, so that might have just been a fluke. It might have just been a little bit of jamming because it's a new gun, but something to consider. Overall, when it comes to the pros for this gun, literally all I have written down for pros are stylish, cheap, and durable. Because it's fully injected polymer and it's pretty dense and fat and beefy, this is something I definitely want to make a note of, is when I'm grabbing onto the pistol grip right here, it needs to be comfortable. Personally, I think it's a cool, stylish looking grip. As I say, you know, the style is definitely there, but the comfort is not, I think. I don't like the comfort in the gun. It's not good because you can see this little edge right there, this little sharp edge kind of digs into the side of my finger right there. My middle finger jams right in there. And while it feels good in the inner curve between my thumb and my index finger, the grooves are off to my hand. It might just be the size of my hand with the gun. It may feel better for you than it does for me, but I have kind of big hands. But even the mag release feels like I'm kind of stretching, because you got to press it like right down the middle. There is no pressing it on the side because it kind of slides off and it's not very strong. It's kind of a little bit of a hard press, and you really want to press it all the way down to release the mag, and it's kind of a stretch for me. If you release with, you know, your middle finger, it'll be a lot easier, but that's not very good. You're playing claw on Xbox or something, but hard press, it's a bit of a hard reach, and like I said, it digs into this little jagged corner, digs my middle finger in a lot more, especially when I'm reaching for the mag release. Another thing I don't like about it real quick is that the chamber for the hop up is right in here, and it's nice, but it doesn't stay open. There's no way to pop it open. You have to hold it if you're going to work on it, so that's a bit annoying. Another thing is that the stock slider button is only on one side. It's on the if you're right-handed, it's on the inside. If you're left-handed, it's on the outside. Which, by the way, it's not an ambidextrous gun. It's for right-handed people. So the stock sliding button is right here on the side, and it's pretty tough to push down in there. It's like one big button, but it's very flush with the gun, so you have to push it, like, again, dead center to get it to slide. Once it slides nice and easy, but you kind of need to grab it from the top and get a grip on it to really slide. So if you're trying to make a quick adjustment in the field, you're gonna have to like take a hand off to adjust it, or like try to switch it like this. It's not very user friendly in that sense, but again, it looks cool. The final con that I'd like to say about the gun is that it is loud. When it shoots, it is pop, 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 loud. Decide for yourself whether or not you want it. If I had to give this a star rating out of 10 stars, I like 10 better than 5 because there's a lot more room in between. I'd probably give this gun a 6 out of 10 for a starting gun. I have had other starting guns. Personally, I spent about 140 on for a JGM 4M16, and that gun was the light of my life. I loved it to death, and no other gun that I started off with could compare to it. This gun is decent, but it's not, again, much of a starter gun because of the cons of the weight and the length. I'm not being a baby. It's not that it's that heavy to where I can't use it, but it definitely is cumbersome, especially if you're not the tallest, if you're not the strongest, if you're like my girlfriend, you know, you're like 5'2" and like 120 pounds, you know, you're gonna struggle to use it, especially when you're trying to bring this big beefy thing up here to your sights. And it just kind of looks like a Lancer from Gears of War. It's just a big chainsaw gun. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more. And check out the links in the description below. There'll be links to this gun, other videos related to this gun and this channel, as well as all these specs as listed on the website where I purchased it from, which I believe was Airsoft Megastore, including the voltage, the FPS, all the internal parts and everything will be listed down there, whatever I can find for you guys, so you can really look at it. And that's really it. So thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.